Hello, Flossy here. This time I'm going to be looking at my favourite songs from the entire 2018 Eurovision. Before the live shows, I am just judging this based on the songs. So I'm not including staging, performance, vocals, just what I think of the songs. What I've done for this is I used a Eurovision sourcer online where you compare like two songs at once, say which one you like over the other. So according to this is what my list is like. I'm also going to be getting some points from my friend Adam. He is basing it on the whole performance because this is the only contribution he's making. He's in a completely different end of the country, so he's actually given me his comments to read out. So this is going to sound really charismatic and flow really well. His comments were actually made before the first semi-final dress rehearsal last night. So there's some major stuff that happened in the dress rehearsal last night, like how much Cyprus has gone up in the odds and everything, that hasn't affected his comments. He's also given his predictions on how well he thinks they're going to do, which is very sweet of him, I must say. Some of his opinions are actually somewhat similar to mine, but there's a few major differences, as you will see. My first point is going to Latvia. I think it's a stunning song. It's very classic. Vocally, I think she's great. I think it's got a somewhat tragic message in a world of first world problems, kind of like, oh no, he doesn't like me back. It's very sad, like the way it's presented. And as I've said before, I have some major hair envy going on. Her hair is amazing. Adam's 1 point is going to Cyprus. He thinks it's a great song that will appeal across Europe, especially with British voters. By the looks of it, they've got great staging. Her outfit is awesome. I can confirm this based on last night. No doubt this will be one of the most successful Cypriot entries ever. He reckons it's going to come in 4th or 5th. I reckon it'll come in a lot higher than that, actually. I wouldn't be... At the moment, I reckon the winners are either Cyprus or Estonia, with maybe like Norway and France kind of creeping up there. So we're both agreeing that it's going to go quite high. My 2 points are going to the Netherlands. I love the country rock vibe. It's quite unique in the contest. Got solid vocals. So yeah, I really like that one. Adam is giving 2 points to Latvia. It's probably his second favourite song of the year. Reminds him of a Bond song, but to Adam, it doesn't come across as well when it's performed live. He thinks she's a good singer, but the recorded version just sounds far superior to the live one. But still thinks it's the best Latvian entry ever and thinks she will get a decent playing of it. Reckons it's going to come in 15th to 20th, something like that. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of how it goes. It's coming from the weaker semi-final, so she's more likely to qualify for the final, I think. So, well, fingers crossed for her. My 3 points are going to the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, IQ. This song, initially, I wasn't sure about it. It was very jarring, but now I think it's a really fun song. I love the different elements of it. I'm very sad that Macedonia doesn't seem to have got good staging again this year. I loved their song last year. I was disappointed with the staging, and it's happening again this year by the sounds of it, which makes me sad. Adam's 3 points are going to Slovenia. He thinks it's a catchy tune that's really helped by her performance, and all her performances are full of energy and she appears to really enjoy them. Even when doing all of the choreography and everything, her vocals are effortless. He thinks this entry will be really appreciated in kind of southeastern Europe, and he reckons it's going to come in 11th or 15th, somewhere in that range. Whilst I wouldn't rank this highly because it's just not my type of music, I don't particularly like the song, I do completely agree with him on her performances being brilliant, and she's just on point every time. I think she's in the second semi. Yeah, she's in the second semi, so I reckon I wouldn't be surprised once again if she qualifies. So, and I wouldn't really be that gutted if she didn't, even though I don't like the song. I think, like he said, she's a brilliant performer, so not complaining about that. My 4 points are going to Australia. I think it's a fun, upbeat song. It's great to sing and dance to and has a good message. It's just all about love and everything. It's cheesy, but I like cheesy. So, and from cheesy to deep, Adam's giving his 4 points to France. It's really grown on him since it was first selected and sounds like the type of song that could be popular across Europe outside of Eurovision. They've given solid live performances, including at the rehearsal, and that's kind of where it all comes together. That's when the bookies' odds tend to change. So there we go. And he reckons it's going to come 4th or 5th. I wouldn't be surprised. I reckon that's round about where it's going to... It's either going to come in that range or fail epically, I think. I don't think there's going to be kind of a middle ground for it. But I think it's more likely to come in higher up. Yeah, for some reason, I'm going against the opposite of everyone else in that I'm not as keen on France's song. But I still think it's brilliant, and I wouldn't begrudge them if they did really well, because it is a brilliant song. It's just not my taste. Like a lot of songs I'm finding this year. My 5 points are going to Italy. For me, the lyrics are the highlight for this. I've mentioned it so many times. It's an intense song. The vocals are fab. And it's also somewhat of a simple song because, they just need to be there singing it. Don't need all these massive things going on in the background, choreography and everything. It's a song that speaks for itself, in a sense. Adam's 5 points are going to Sweden. He thinks it's another great entry from Sweden. The song is cool, the staging is cool, and he looks cool. Even though the song itself may not be a winner, the whole package definitely stands out. And after watching the rehearsal, there is no doubt this will be top 10, possibly top 5. So he reckons it's going to be in 6th or 10th place between those two. He reckons. Even though I'm not as enthusiastic as this, I do agree. It does have the whole package. I think especially for the casual viewer, I kind of tend to look at it as another young, attractive male from Sweden. This is, 4 years in a row, doing this type of music, and I'm just there going, oh, not again. But for someone who's not into Eurovision, which there's going to be a lot of on the night, people who aren't used to the whole shebang that surrounds it, they won't know about the yeah fire memes. So I wouldn't be surprised if this does rank highly, and in Sweden they always do well. So speaking of fire, my 6 points are going to Cyprus. I think it's a great song. It's got a fantastic beat. For me, it's definitely a grower. This I wasn't that fussed on. I think it might have been that when I first looked at this, I was looking at a lot of solo female songs at the same time, and there was a few dance type songs as well, because I remember Slovenia's was around that point and Azerbaijan's. So I was there kind of like, oh no, not another one, and then I've come to appreciate it so much, and I love the ethnic modern instrumental elements. I think if you were looking at the overall package, this is probably going to be my favourite overall this year, based on I love the song and everything I've heard about the staging and the performance is fantastic. So I think this is going to be my favourite all-rounder this year, quite probably. Adam's 6 points are going to Lithuania. He thinks it's a really sweet song. He loves the simplicity and its staging. Eurovision needs one big ballad every year, and this is 2018's. He thinks it had a shaky first rehearsal, but a strong second one, and is pretty sure she'll pull it off on the night. Reckons it's going to come between 6th and 10th. I absolutely adore this song, and I want it to do well. I am very scared about how simple it is that it won't translate, but I've heard very good things coming out of it. So hopefully his prediction is right, because this is a beautiful song. My 7 points are going to Spain. Another beautiful song. I think it's very simple aside from the belt towards the end. The vocals are lovely, and when you listen to just the song, it takes away all the cheesiness. I kind of find how intensely in love they are during their performances, just so cringy a lot of the time. It's funny to look back on, but when you're there watching it, I'm just there going, oh no. So it was a while after the live performance. I think it was after the album came out, I really fell in love with this song. So hopefully it won't be too cringy on the night. Adam's 7 points are going to Greece. He loves the Greek ethnic sound of it, and it works really well for Eurovision. He was a bit worried after the first rehearsal, but it's definitely made a comeback with that second one, which was brilliant. He had thought it's a shame with the year's toned down staging that Greece wouldn't be able to have a backdrop showing off some of Greece, its culture and its history, which would have worked so well with this song. But they have pulled off the stage show really well. It looks great, very classy, and fits in with the song. He reckons it's going to come in between 6th and 10th. Greece is the one where I think it deserves to go high, even though I'm not a particular fan of the song. But I'm not sure it will be able to, because I've heard there's a lot of technical problems with the staging. I know that they had the dress rehearsal last night, and apparently they had to redo it. There was issues, and Greece has had to continuously redo their staging. So that's my worry about this. So, and it doesn't exactly fill you with confidence. Imagine going to Eurovision and the night before your first semi-final, your staging effects aren't working properly. That makes it a bit shaky for me. But fingers crossed they do well and it all comes together. My 8 points are going to Ireland. It's another simple song. I think it's utterly beautiful. I think it's a sad song and it's very relatable. I just think this is beautiful. This is unexpected for me because Ireland have kind of gone downhill for me in quite a few years. I can't remember. I think probably... It's difficult. I can't remember the last time I loved Ireland's song in general. Like, I can't really remember any of their songs from, like, the 2000s. So then that's going back into the 90s, which was the Ireland Golden Years. So, for me, the last time they had a brilliant song was the 90s. Like, I love the Jedward stuff, but I don't think the Jedward songs were brilliant, but it's just they're Jedward, they're very fun, upbeat, and it's very enjoyable to watch. But so this is really nice for me. It's like Ireland bringing back the Golden Years, for me at least. Adam is giving his 8 points to Hungary. He's kind of surprised he likes this so much, but thinks it's hard not to. They put so much into their performances and bring a great variety to Eurovision. He's been a fan of this since it was first selected, but only just entered his top 10 after the rehearsals, which are looking great. The song is their own and talks about losing a loved one, something everyone can or will be able to relate to at some point. The only has positive things to say about this. He's got an exclamation point on it as well, so he must be enthusiastic. He reckons it's going to be runner-up. This is another one I think, I wouldn't be surprised if this is runner-up. Or this is the dark horse to win, I wouldn't be surprised with. Even though I don't like the song, this is the case with a lot of them. I don't particularly like the song, but I do agree with those points about, they're brilliant to watch and... they bring something unique and fantastic to it, so I will be oddly anticipating this, even though I don't like the song. My 10 points are going to Lithuania. I'm loving the simple songs this year, but this song, I think it just is the top of them all to me. It's utterly exquisite. It's the biggest grower for me. Like, Lithuania and Cyprus are the two biggest growers. Cyprus, in terms of, I think, is going to be staging and performance that pips it, and Lithuania, the actual song that pips it. I am just in love with this song. I think I could be listening to this song in a few years' time. Adam is giving his 10 points to Estonia. It's been going up and down in his top 10 ever since it was selected, but what sealed it as his runner-up was the rehearsals. Several countries have very good rehearsals, but Estonia was miles ahead of all of them. Her voice is unbelievably good, and you can tell it really fills the arena. He thinks it will really hold the audience, both in Lisbon and at home, just as Ilvolo did a few years back. And what she has that they didn't have is great staging, which looks fab, and really emphasises that the entry is all about the voice. He reckons it's going to be the winner. I wouldn't be surprised if this wins. I wouldn't necessarily say it emphasises that it's about the voice, because I think it just embellishes and contributes to the voice. It kind of builds it up. The way they're projecting onto the dress adds to it, instead of... If it was all about the voice, I think she'd just be stood there singing. So I do slightly disagree with that, but I do agree that it's a fantastic entry. So for my 12 points, I've gone through my next three down being the very simple songs, And my top one is the more musical song, Denmark's song. It's just an epic finish for me. It's very grand, which I love. It's theatrical. I love musical theatre and just like these kind of over the top. I also love history, so it's kind of like got that kind of European Viking element to it. It's just interesting how it subverts the expectation of the Viking warrior song, because with the staging and everything, I know I'm judging this on the song, but this is how the song relates to it. Everyone is saying it's the Game of Thrones staging and all that, and this song is a song about pacifism. So it's subverting. The lyrics are subverting what the melody and the other musical elements suggest, which I find really cool. And Adam's 12 points, which I had no doubt whatsoever that he was going to pick this, is Spain. For him, it's the perfect Eurovision entry. He thinks its selling point is that it's both cheesy and good quality. It has something for people who like Eurovision for a bit of fun, and it has something for the more dedicated fans who are interested in song quality, language, variety, etc. They've come across really well personally on stage and off stage, and the story behind the act, they met on a Spanish sort of Fame Academy, Big Brother type show, and then that was how the national final actually worked. That really helped them become such a strong act with a lot of fans. The only worry is that a lot of their support so far seems to be becoming from Spain itself. The rest of Europe don't know about the show and the backstory, so will miss out on their story. However, their live performances have been great, and the rehearsal probably their best ever, so fingers crossed they can pull it off on Saturday night. He thinks they'll come in third. I don't necessarily think they'll come in so high. I think this is Spain's best entry since 2014. I think we were talking about this, that it's kind of this minor joke in the Eurovision circles that the Spanish fans are very enthusiastic. There's nothing wrong with that. I would rather that than the UK's approach, which is we all hate it until the Saturday comes and we embrace it and find it fun, and then everyone goes back to hating it the next morning. So I do like that approach, but it kind of tends to overestimate the song at a lot of points. You know, some of the songs the past few years, you're like, no, you have no reason to be that enthusiastic about this song. But this song for me is worth that enthusiasm. I don't think it's gonna come in third because it doesn't seem to be having the momentum that Cyprus, Estonia, Israel has slightly gone down but still up there, Norway, and what was the other one there's another one everyone thinks is gonna win as well. France, that was it. Those are the kind of the top 5 in terms of the momentum they're building up, and I think Spain's not as high as that. So I reckon Spain, it'll either come in the higher end of the top 10, like between like maybe 7 and 16, something like that. I'm not sure. Especially with last year. You look at last year and like the ballads generally didn't do that well, so you never know if it's gonna, well, aside from winning. A lot of the top 10 was a very eclectic bunch and there was only a couple of ballads. So overall, things have changed up a lot now. Spain has taken a very clear lead with 30 points. Meanwhile, still at the bottom are Malta, Montenegro and Iceland with only 2 points. I've had my first impressions of the songs, what I think of them after some time, and my overall favourite songs. But in terms of actual Eurovision, it takes more than just the song to win. Like, the song is important, but staging can make or break a song. So for me, the final round will be, I'm going to review each semi-final, giving my 12 points for the overall package in each semi. And in each semi, in the actual semi-final, they release a short clip of half of the big 5, half of the already finalists. And then they will upload the full video to YouTube, their dress rehearsal. So I'll be watching those as well and including them in there. And then when I review semi-final 2, the winner's going to be chosen. Will it be Spain or will Iceland somehow rise to the top? I doubt that, but who knows? I've been Flossy. Ta-ta!